I need to see these videos. Come here, come here, come here. I bet. There was an incident at a Travis Scott concert a couple years ago. There wasn't much noise about it. A couple people passed away after it happened. And this video is diving into, I guess, what happened and speaking about the occurrences at the event itself.
On November 5th, 2021, 50,000
4 years
people
ago? 5 years?
gathered in Houston for the Astroworld Music Festival. Unfortunately, not all 50,000 would make it out alive.
I heard some crazy things was happening in the crowd. People was getting filmies in their legs, and I'm like, gang, ah.
The fucking Scott, the greatest live performer on this planet.
At 9:06 p.m., just 6 minutes after Travis Scott's set began, the crowd had violently compressed towards the front of the stage. Getting pushed around at a high-energy rap concert is expected, but what was happening in the crowd's south quadrant was far from a normal concert experience. Because of the way the barricades were arranged, fans in this section were funneled into a dead end. Wave after wave of bodies were pushing forward, causing people to get trampled, pinned up against each other, and fighting for a breath of air. For people like 27-year-old Danish Beg, who fell to the ground trying to protect his fiancée from the surge, or 22-year-old Bharti Shahani, who was pinned up against the barricades. The concert had transformed into a fight for survival. Surrounded by flashing lights and booming bass, they were completely invisible.
The crazy thing is, people blame this on Travis, though. I can see both arguments, but it's like Travis can't see and cannot be accountable for everyone. I think after every song, yes, you probably have to have a break. Hey, let's calm down. Let's make sure everybody's all right. If you see somebody hurt, call ambulance. You feel what I'm saying? But like, he can't be at fault for everything that went on. You know what I'm saying?
Visible to the performers just yards away. But the disaster didn't start when Travis Scott came on. It started 10 hours earlier.
The video you're seeing now is when the gates opened earlier this afternoon and fans did get a little too excited. You saw some people trip. Well, security and metal detectors were also put to the ground there. There was running, pushing, shoving. Some people even got trampled over.
The Astroworld Festival grounds at NRG Park were approved for a maximum capacity of 50,000 people. But when those fences came down at 9 a.m., that cap disappeared.
Honestly, the security people that were there, they're like, we don't get paid enough to like stop these people. That's literally what they told us. They're like, oh, we don't get paid enough to stop these people. Like, let them go.
On paper, the organizers seemed at least somewhat prepared. They had drafted a 56-page event operations plan and hired a small army of private security to work alongside the Houston police. But the massive security manual was missing one glaring scenario. It contained absolutely nothing about a plan in the event of a crowd surge or a rush. The entire security model relied on the assumption that the crowd would simply follow the rules. And if you know Travis Scott, that's not exactly what he encourages his fans to do.
All Real Rangers fans, jump over the fence now and get here right now. Let's go. Security, don't you touch him. Don't you touch him. Security, back up. Let him over. Let him over. Are you security?
Now, if he was doing that at what's the name, at Astroworld, I take back my statement. If he was doing that, GG's.
Listen, if a fucking crowd surf, you let them. If they fall out, you put it back in there. You keep the fuck out, all these motherfuckers gonna choke them down. No security touches a Travis Scott fan, bro. That's not how we rockin', bro. You don't on my show, bro. Take your to the left. You fucking big earlobe, wearing fat.
Going off on security became a part of
What's good, young
Travis
KJ? What's good,
Scott's
buddy?
brand. And not only would he try and embarrass the security guards, but he also posted on social media encouraging and glorifying violence at his shows. In 2015, Travis posted on Instagram a photo of a fan passed out at one of his shows, and he captioned it, "To the kid that didn't survive the rodeo, you're a hero in my book." And then just 2 weeks later, he posted another fan unconscious at one of his shows and captioned it, "Last day of tour was tonight very wild. To the kid who black out, you're a hero." And then in 2021, right before Houston's Astroworld, in response to the show being sold out, Travis Scott tweeted, "Nah, and we still sneaking the wild ones in." Sneaking in is exactly what thousands of his fans did on that day, and to now, instead of 50,000 people inside the Astroworld Music Festival,
It's probably like
the
100.
number of attendees was completely unknown. For now, it was still peaceful and everyone was having a good time, but hours later, the nightmare would unfold. The sheer number of people was a recipe for disaster, but the layout of the festival is what really ignited it. There were 2 stages, the main stage and the second stage. All 8 music artists that played throughout the day were booked back to back on the second stage, while the main stage remained empty. Massive artists like Metro Boomin, Don Toliver, Roddy Ricch, and Lil Baby all played during the day on the second stage. This meant that tens of thousands of people were all concentrated on one side of the park throughout the day, and warning signs were already growing.
Troy Finner, the police chief, went to visit Scott in his trailer during the day on Friday, as it was clear that the crowd there was was rowdy, but earlier in the day, so not when the sort of stampedes were occurring, but went there and sort of reminded Travis Scott that back in 2019, he'd also had an issue at his concert and there'd been some stampeding and some people injured, and sort of just, as a kind of mentor, went.
But then, like, he's probably gonna sit there and laugh in their face because he's like, that has not that it has nothing to do with him, but he's like, he wants as many people as he can there, bro.
To talk to the younger man and say, just this is kind of the kinds of fans you have. They're very devoted, and just to be aware of that.
Throughout the day, law enforcement saw a clear pattern of escalating danger. Having seen the barricades overrun and the daytime crowds spiraling out of control, authorities were well aware that the Travis Scott headline performance was carrying a high level of risk. The tipping point, though, came at 8:30 p.m. when SZA's performance on the second stage ended. A 30-minute countdown then began on the main stage's screen on the other side of the park. Tens of thousands of people, plus all the undocumented fans, rushed across the park in a massive stampede to secure a spot for Travis Scott.
I remember when I was there, bro, we was standing in the back. It got not this one. We was in Atlanta with it. We were standing in like the middle. Everybody started rushing. We got there mad early. It was empty. Everybody started rushing in. They started a mosh even before the concert started. I said, I'm not gonna lie, we're going to the back. Even when we went to the back, it was still insane, bro.
The thousands of fans rushing towards the main stage were running directly into a structural death trap. The main stage was designed to hold a massive crowd, but it was split into sections by metal barricades to create walkways for security and VIPs. As the people pushed from the back and the sides, the people towards the front had nowhere to go.
So we made it like to the front. By the time that the countdown, I think the countdown started at like 40 minutes. So it was just going down little by little. So every 10 minutes that it got closer, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like, not paranoid, but I was kind of like, oh shit, I can't breathe. Because it was just so crowded, so many people. And I've been to concerts like that before, but not that hectic,
Gio was in the west quadrant, directly in front of the stage, which turned out to be one of the most dangerous areas of the concert. Because thousands of people were rushing over from the second stage, the west and south quadrants were becoming dangerously packed with people. And the concert hadn't even started yet.
And I think the moment that it really hit me was there was a guy that passed out behind me. And I can't even lie to you. I had this guy that was at least 6 foot tall. I turned around, I looked at him, and he was just starting to fall down. And he completely fell down. And I'm kind of like, oh shit. So I try to pick him up, but I'm like 5'8". And this guy's probably like 200 plus pounds. So I can't pick him up. I asked the guy next to me, hey, can you help me pick him up? This guy completely said nah. And then he went back to raging onto the show.
Travis Scott had finally made it onto the main stage. The 50,000 people were all so compressed that they started flowing like a liquid. If the crowd swayed left, you went left. If it surged forward, you went forward. And if you lost your footing, you were likely going down.
It happened from the very first song. We were all screaming to get out, screaming for people to jump over the barricade, screaming for security. I stopped screaming because I just kept losing breath. I tried to preserve as much oxygen as I could, but everyone was screaming around me.
Hold up, TikTok's making me do this age verification thing, bro. I'm over 18, bro. Please. We couldn't confirm your age, yo gang. What are we talking about, bro? One second. I had to stop sparking so late, bro. I be getting tired. Yo, gang, let's pause the video. Why are you not subbed up? Like 90% of you guys, let's sub up, let's follow me on Twitch, and we can have a good video. My fault, bro. Please? Please? I hate this app. Oh, wait.
It was horrific.
At exactly 9:06 p.m., barely 5 minutes after Travis Scott had taken stage, police and fire department logs show that the crowd had already reached a lethal level of compression. Medics and security were receiving word that people were being crushed, losing consciousness, and suffering serious injuries in the crowd. The people in the South Quadrant
Who do you
were
blame for
especially
this, though?
vulnerable because of the festival's barricade layout. Because the fans were funneled into this side of the stage, that left those inside the quadrant trapped on three sides. People kept pushing those in the South Quadrant closer and closer
What about
to
the West
barricades
Quadrant?
with nowhere to go. At its peak density, experts later estimated that the fans in the South Quadrant were squeezed into less than 2 square feet per person. This is...
Hey, baby girl, this could have been us at Music Midtown. That's what I literally said that right before I started reacting to it. How we went to the back after we saw how bad it was.
the level of compression so intense to where your arms are locked by your side.
We knew better, bro.
Whoa. What the fuck is that?
At 9:25 p.m., a medical car
Travis
enters
didn't
the
know what was
crowd
going
and
on.
tries to get to an unconscious fan. This is the first time that the concert stops. But for some, the intervention of the medical cart would be too late. 9-year-old Ezra Blount was attending the concert.
9? Come on, gang.
With his father, Tristan. Ezra was a massive Travis Scott fan. In this video,
9
you can see
in the
Ezra
front.
on top of his dad's shoulders in the extremely tightly packed South Quadrant. Ezra's dad, Tristan, started having an extremely difficult time breathing, however, with how little room he had to move.
The crowd just starts going crazy, and Tristan goes, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. He woke up in the crowd, and Ezra was gone.
Tristan ended up passing out like many others in the South Quadrant, and his son Ezra fell into the trampling crowd below. Tristan eventually regained consciousness and began a frantic search for his son. Ezra was nowhere to be found, so Tristan frantically started pushing his way through the crowd, heading towards the medical tents to see if he could find his son. As Tristan was pushing through the crowd and the medical cart was still trying to make its way through the crowd, the South Quadrant was reaching its breaking point. 22-year-old Bharti Shahani was at the concert with her sister and cousin.
Gang, what? At what do you do at that point? Are you going towards the medical tent? Or are you looking on the ground trying to find your son? I'm not gonna lie, everybody's gonna have to get out the way. I'm saying, my son, gang, like, I'm pushing. You don't have enough time. You know what I'm saying? You're losing out on time trying to figure out if he went to the medical tent. Yeah, I'm pushing everybody out of the way trying to figure out where my son at, bro. Watch out, my son. Feel me? I'm not going to the medical tent.
Incredibly, this was Bharti.
But out of respect, you don't know how long after, he didn't know how long he was passed out for. Bro could have, you know what I'm saying? How did he not get hurt after he was passed out?
His first concert ever. But in the violent swaying of the crowd, the three of them were ripped apart. Bharti was swept into the South Quadrant and pinned directly into the heavy metal barricades. With thousands of pounds of pressure digging into her back and the steel barricades in front of her, she had no room to breathe. She eventually lost consciousness from the lack of oxygen. While EMS crews were eventually able to pull Bharti out of the barricade and onto a stretcher, the damage was already done. By the time she reached the medics, Bharti was showing no brain activity.
We're getting told by the media person that there's a large group of people that are climbing their media towers that are in front of the stage, and that people are about to fall off, and that their media people that are at the booth are calling, quote-unquote, mayday request to get out, and they can't get out.
As the situation spiraled, fans tried taking matters into their own hands. Sienna Faith and Aiden Cruz were filmed climbing on a camera platform, screaming at the operator to cut the feed and warning him that people were dying in the pits below.
If you're the cameraman at this point, you told them to get off the stage, and then you hear the reports of what happened, bro. How do you feel, bro? They literally are telling you. But how can he tell Travis though? I mean, I think he has I see the radio on him. He could have communicated to them what was going on, but
Finally at 9:38 p.m., a little over a half hour since the concert began.
But if you're in the moment, bro, I wouldn't say I would have done the same thing, but like, he's in the moment. He's not thinking like, of course he thinks people are hurt. Or he can assume people are hurt but dead in GTA. Well, this is in real life, but that passed away, man.
The Houston Fire Department labeled this as a mass casualty event. This meant that the number of victims had completely overwhelmed the medical resources on site, triggering an emergency surge of outside ambulances and personnel. But despite this official declaration of a disaster, the music didn't stop. In fact, the most dangerous part of the night was still yet to come.
Let's play it slowly. We need somebody to help him. Somebody passed out right here. No, don't touch him. Don't touch him. Everybody just back up. Security, somebody help jump in real quick. Keep going. Just keep it this way.
Travis stopped the show a second time as he was alerted there was an unconscious fan by the stage.
Somebody jump in. Come on. Security.
Because that's what the ear said. You seen this? I watched it a while back. I mean, this happened in 2021. This was like I saw this YouTube video. And I was like, I didn't remember exactly what happened, but I don't know if I finished it, but I did see there was a documentary on Netflix. I'm not finna watch it, but this probably sums it up fairly well. I'll be honest. You feel what I'm saying? But in his ear thing, people are supposed to be communicating with him, and it's playing his music, but at the same time, I think people are able to communicate with him on stage. I don't want to blame Travis, but
In other areas of the venue, fans were chanting, "Stop the show."
Stop the show! Stop the show! This person was a really good friend of mine.
But Travis later said that he was unaware of those chants going on.
So they did pause the show 3 times, but it's hard to tell when a moment was,
But then the amount of look. So watch this. You're at a double-edged sword. You got all them people saying stop the show, but then you have another 50,000 people saying, like, if he would have stopped the show, would have booed him to death. But at what cost? He should have stopped it, but he didn't know at the time.
And then once you did that, literally the next song, someone needed help again.
Despite this concert already being labeled a mass casualty event, at 9:54 p.m., superstar Drake walked onto the...
Drake was there? Drake was there at the one that all the people would pass away at? And the thing is, with the team is somebody on the team knew how bad it had gotten. But I don't think everybody W Drake, man. Come on, gang. People passed away, bro. And you talking about W Drake. Come on, bro.
Stage as a surprise guest.
It's getting cold in here.
This was like throwing gasoline on a fire. Fans who were already exhausted and suffocating.
That's exactly how the crowd actually
looked. A
looked.
wave of energy from the back of the crowd. While Travis and Drake were performing sicko mode, first responders were performing CPR on unconscious fans just yards away. As mentioned before, bearing the worst of it were those in a very small section of the South Quadrant. 23-year-old Madison Dubisky, who was at the show with her brother, unfortunately died here from the extreme compression caused by the pressure of the crowd surge.
Rest in peace.
Close by, 27-year-old Danish Beg was trying to protect his fiancée as the crowd surge intensified. During the chaos, he fell in the crowd and was trampled and compressed by people on all sides. Danish also tragically lost his life that night. Axel Acosta, Brianna Rodriguez, Franco Patino, Jacob Juranic, John Hilgert, and Rodolfo Pena all met the same devastating fate in the South Quadrant. Their causes of death were all the same.
Where's the sun at? What happened to the sun?
The pressure of
there he is right there. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Was so extreme that it physically prevented them from being able to breathe. The surprise appearance by Drake lasted until 10:11 p.m., but even then, the music didn't cut. Travis stayed on stage to perform one final song, Goosebumps. Finally, at 10:15 p.m., 37 minutes after a mass casualty event was declared, and over an hour after the first fans began to die, the music had finally stopped.
But as far as the evacuation, it was
in the Netflix video, did they interview Travis? I want to see Travis's response to this. I'm not gonna lie. What Travis thought was going on versus. No, I know.
Any other concert, any other.
That's why I'm low key concerts may not be my thing, gang.
In the hours
and again, I told myself I'm not going anymore unless I get invited.
Demanded answers. Travis eventually released an apology video on his Instagram.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. My fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I just stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation.
The Astroworld tragedy remains a haunting reminder of what happens when the rage goes too far and the systems designed to protect us fail. It changed the way that festivals are permitted and policed in the city of Houston, but for the families of the 10 who never came home, those changes.
23, 27, 21, 16, golly. 22, 21, 20.
Came in an unimaginable
9.
cost.
Dang, bro. Sad day, bro. It's like the 9-year-old thing, though, bro. It's like he fell off and then nobody cared about him, bro. As small as he was, bro, I would have never performed again.
Have you ever worked towards
The thing is, bro,
a video game's
because of how big Travis is, bro, I don't think he'll ever stop, like, as a whole, stop performing. He can't, bro.